Hey everybody, it's Jay here, and today I'm going to be talking about how I got on tea and how you can get on hormones and transition and stuff in Ireland, because we have a bit of a wonky system and there isn't much information out there about our system, so we kind of all have to stick together and give each other advice about the system, because I've been through the system. I know a lot of people have been through the system. We've all done it a bit differently, but we've all done it, and I just kind of feel like there should be more information out there for us, so at least this video might help someone. So I'll tell you what I did first. First of all, I went to my GP. He referred me around to a few different psychiatrists, a lot of which didn't want to take me at the time because I was still only 15. Eventually we ended up asking TENI, which is the Trans Quality Network of Ireland, who I should go to, and they recommended a psychotherapist who works in Insight Matters in Dublin city centre. I went to her. Through her and Dr. James Kelly, who works with her from France, I got a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. In the meantime, I had also applied to the HSE to get a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, and I met with Dr. Moran, can't remember what his first name is, but he also, I think his name's here actually. Yeah, no, never mind. But Dr. Moran, he also gave me a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, and then I went to Loughlinstown, which is where the only HSE endocrinology unit that treats trans people is, aside from Crumlin, which is for under 16s. But I was 3 days off being 16, so there was no point sending me to Crumlin, really. In Loughlinstown, I was given a quick physical checkup. They made sure that I was physically healthy. I had blood tests done. I peed in a cup. I had my weight and my height and my blood pressure, and I got felt up. I was asked if my periods were regular. I was asked if I had a blood clot before, blah blah blah. I was basically asked these general questions about my health to make sure that, number one, going on medication wouldn't affect me, and number two, that hormones wouldn't put me at too significantly higher risk of any physical problems, because hormones do increase risk of stuff like cardiovascular diseases and stuff, simply because, cis men have an increased risk of those versus cis women anyway, so it just kind of replicates that phenomenon. So the things that are wrong about what I did, I'll poke holes in it. Number one, my GP referred me to a bunch of people who wouldn't treat me. That wasn't my fault or really his fault. He didn't know that they wouldn't treat me. But you do need to make sure that if your GP is referring you somewhere, that person will treat people who are under 16/under 18, depending on which you fall into. Number two, I went to a private psychiatrist first and foremost. He and the psychotherapist and the clinical psychologist that I worked with, they were both really good and really helpful. However, if I got into Loughlinstown with just their diagnoses, I probably would have been told to come back with something from the HSE, because the HSE likes you to work within the HSE. The HSE prefers if you cooperate with the HSE system and don't go outside of the HSE system. However, sometimes it's not always that easy. When it boiled down to it, my HSE appointment, which I did get in the end, was about 3 weeks before my appointment with Loughlinstown. So if I had been relying on having that HSE appointment, I wouldn't have gotten on testosterone as soon as I did. So if possible, try and go to the HSE. If not, get in contact with the HSE, get your name on a waiting list, get yourself in there, and then go about any private stuff that you can do as well, because the HSE is free. So there is no harm in putting yourself out there for it. There's no harm in putting your name down for it. But with private stuff, if you can afford it, do get something private running in the background. Because once you get a dysphoria diagnosis, you've got it. It's there. It exists. What else did I do wrong? Oh yeah, I should have gotten a full bloods done before I went into Loughlinstown, but I only got my hormones tested. I only got my hormone levels done. In future, I'm supposed to get full bloods as well as my hormone levels, which is a lot of blood, but I'll deal. Other than that, the ideal way you're supposed to do it is you go to your GP refers you to somebody within the HSE who can diagnose you with gender dysphoria. That person who diagnoses you with gender dysphoria then refers you to Loughlinstown if you're over 16, or Crumlin if you're under 16. In Crumlin they'll give you blockers if you're under 16, and in Loughlinstown they'll give you hormones if you're over 16, or maybe blockers if there's a reason. Like, I know a friend of mine was put on blockers just to double triple check he was trans, I'm pretty sure. And another friend of mine chose to go on blockers because he's in an all-girls school. So there's a lot of people out there who would go on blockers instead of hormones for whatever reason. And yeah, that's how I did it, at least. I do know that some people are going to private endocrinologists because Loughlinstown is a bit of a nightmare. Like, every trans person in the country kind of has to go there because they don't have much choice. But I do know there are some private endocrinologists knocking around, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. Some people who try to get hormones before they're 16 have gone to Germany. Germany will allow you, if you're not a resident in Germany, to get a diagnosis of gender dysphoria and get prescribed with hormones literally within like a week of going there. You can get top surgery there as well, like before you're 18, I'm pretty sure, which is nice. Like, you can go to Germany if you've got the money, but it's wildly expensive because you need to go back every once in a while to get your prescription refilled, to get your levels checked, stuff like that. So it's a bit complicated. The Irish system in general is a bit complicated. I know that once it comes to going further in your transition, that... What was I going to say? Yeah, when it comes to going further in your transition and like getting top surgery and stuff, I think you have to go back to a psychiatrist and like get them to rewrite the letter that they wrote you in the first place, where it's like, gender dysphoria, blah blah blah, refer this person to top surgery. And then you bring that into Loughlinstown as well, and I think they write a letter that concurs, I think. And then you can be recommended to the Irish person who does it, but not a lot of people go to them, and a lot of people don't like their results and stuff like that, so you might be going abroad instead, which costs you way more money, but you still need letters. Other than that, I don't know. I think that the weirdest thing about the whole system is the Loughlinstown appointment itself. It's so surreal, because the hospital it's in, St. Columkille's Hospital, is a really small hospital. It's on the outskirts of Dublin. You'd think that it's nothing... Shut up. My laptop tells me what time it is, that's why I just said it's 2 o'clock. But, like, Loughlinstown is so small, the hospital, that you'd think nothing interesting is happening there, kind of thing, you know? But no, it's actually... Like, there's, like, a pretty big endocrinology unit. Within it, there's a load of doctors, and then on the top, there's Professor O'Shea. I was waiting an hour and a half to talk to Professor O'Shea after talking to one of the doctors first. If you're wondering what kind of hormones they might prescribe you, I think Professor O'Shea will prescribe Nebido, Sustanon, or Testigel. Is mine Testigel? Yeah, Testigel. He'll do Nebido, Sustanon, or Testigel, and that's pretty much it. He tends to put people on Testigel first, and then on Nebido or Sustanon afterwards, if that's what they want. If you're my age, if you are youthful, he will definitely put you on a low dose first, because I was put on every 3 days, then every 2 days, then every day with the gel. So like, it was every 3 days for a month, every 2 days for a month, and then every day for 2 months. I'm in the middle of that, the first month. I'm near the end of the first month. Like, my prescription would reloop on the 17th, so... Yes, testosterone in Ireland is kind of hard to get to. All in all, between... I'm trying to think how long it would have taken me. It took me about a year between, like, first starting and expressing the want for hormones. No, I tell a lie. Because I got my diagnosis in January, February maybe. And then I was on hormones by October, which would mean it was about 9-10 months fully inclusive. And that can be a really long, grueling wait. For me, it felt like it would never come, but it did, and it will. And you just have to be patient, and you just have to wait, but you will get there in the end. So thank you for watching this video. If you like this video and you want to hear more about my personal transition and other stuff, please like this video and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.